My name is Robert Haller, Haller. I was in Vietnam in 1965 and 1966, attached to Bravo Company, 3rd Tanks, 1st Platoon.
All right, Robert, where would you like to start?
I'd like to start the reason I joined the Marine Corps. I grew up in Philadelphia, which you will be able to tell by my accent. And it was post-World War II and Korean War, and everything was military at the time. I guess I outgrew shooting Indians with my cap guns and watching movies like John Wayne and Sands of Iwo Jima, The D.I. with Jack Webb, or Pride of the Marines with Al Schmid. And I grew up with that I wanted to join the Marine Corps. I wanted to fight. So on the 3rd of October, 1963, I signed the papers, took the oath on a delayed program, and they had me. I graduated from boot camp, and I was assigned to 2nd Tank Battalion at Camp Lejeune, Bravo Company, 2nd Tanks, 1st Platoon. My first deployment out of Lejeune was at in Santo Domingo, May and June of 1965 during the uprising. And we stopped at Cuba for a while, and from there back to Camp Lejeune. And garrison life wasn't my thing. And while I was there, I got promoted to Lance Corporal. Soon after that, I did something incredibly stupid. And I was court-martialed and sentenced to 90 days at the Camp Lejeune brig. And they were doing me a favor. No one got hurt. Nothing got damaged, but they cut it down to 30 days. I went back to Bravo Company, 2nd Tanks, and they promoted me to PFC about a week or two later, because I guess they can't have a private in tanks. Soon after that, I got tired of the mundane life at Lejeune, and they were asking for volunteers for Vietnam to fight. That's why I joined the Marine Corps. So I had a little taste of it at Santo Domingo, and I decided, I think I'm going to volunteer. Now, I missed something in geography class. I never heard of Vietnam. I had no idea where it was, but I'm going to go anyway. So from there, I went to, and I have to use notes, I'm terribly sorry. I volunteered for Vietnam, and I arrived there in 26th of September 1965. I left a World War II troop ship out of San Diego. Was a USS William Mitchell. And then from there to Okinawa on the USS Navarone, it was an attack transport ship. From there, I arrived in Vietnam at 26 September 1965. We had our sea bags with us. We were told to take our uniforms out, our utilities, shaving gear, stuff like that, right out of the tag, put in your sea bag, tie your boots up, put them around your neck. And that was the last time I ever saw my sea bag. From there, I hopped on the truck, and they took me down to Bravo Company, 3rd Tanks, 1st Platoon, out of Marble Mountain. We stayed there for a while. We did a lot of runs up and down the beach, little firefights here and there, a couple mines every once in a while. And then we moved the battalion or the regiment up to Hill 55. Now, while I was on Hill 55, I basically stood guard. Now, remember, I'm still a PFC, and everybody else is Lance Corporal and Corporal. So I was a PFC for quite a while. And I kind of liked Hill 55. We had hot food, warm showers, cold beer, and when I wasn't on duty or working maintenance, I could sleep in a tent. At that time, it was early on in the war, and we overlooked what they now call Arizona Territory. And from Arizona Territory was a free fire zone. We could basically shoot anything we wanted. And then one day they turned around and they said, hey, we think we have some VC down below. We need some volunteers to go. So what the hell? I'm a Marine. Put on my duty belt, my 45, grabbed my M14, and down the hill we went. We looked around for a while. We didn't find anything. Hour and a half. I don't really remember. It's a long time ago. But I do remember coming back up. And as they say in the Marine Corps, fire team, one shoots, one loots, and the third one takes pictures. And there was a pagoda. Now, remember that I'm a Philadelphia boy. I grew up in a German neighborhood, and anything Oriental was like, I'd never seen anything. I don't even think I was ever in a Chinese restaurant because we didn't have them. I was curious, so I walked into the little pagoda. I looked around and said, hey, this is pretty neat. And then they had cabinets on the top of the wall. Well, I had to open up one of the cabinets, and I did. The only thing I saw was two hands, one holding a hand grenade and one pulling the pin. I turned around, I jumped over this little wall that they have in front of the pagodas, and just as I hit the ground, the grenade went off. I popped up and shot the guy. I'm 18 years old. He fell out of the cabinets, and they told me I was doing a good job. I'm standing over the first person ever killed at 18, and I still remember that. I'm looking down at him. I said, well, I guess this is why I came here. So from there, I went back to Hill 55. Again, I was totally happy. And one day I was told that I was going to be promoted to Lance Corporal. And from that point on, because I wasn't complaining about going out to a line company, I was totally happy where I was. Everybody else was really, bitching about, I want to go out. I kept my mouth shut, which was the wrong thing to do. So they said, since I wasn't saying anything and giving them a hard time, they decided to attach me to a line company. And I was assigned to a Bravo 1-4. Robert Adcock was my tank commander. And we were in support of Bravo 1-9, The Walking Dead. Now, they didn't have that moniker at the time, but they certainly were practicing for it. So we were with them for a while, and then I was transferred to another tank for whatever reason, because we jumped tanks. We were losing a lot of people, attrition, wounded, and a few dead. And I was on Operation Swanee. At that time, we were in support of Mike Company, 3rd Battalion, 9th Marines, and they were pinned down. They were ambushed, and they were ambushed hard. My tank under Robert Adcock, and we moved forward. We had so much small arms fire and RPG, it blew the antennas off the tank. The xenon lights in the front were destroyed. The 5-gallon jerry cans on the side, they looked like sieves. We were hit hard, and they knew what they were doing. That time, an RPG hit my tank and wounded Robert Adcock, my tank commander. Bobby is a good old Southern boy. He's a wonderful man, and his family I met his family years later, and fantastic people. So things quieted down. I jumped out of the tank. I ran over to the other tank. Jose Alvarado was a tank commander, staff sergeant. I told him, what are we going to do? And he basically said, go around, and I'm going to go around the other way. And we did, and we got hit really hard again. At the end of that, I got out of the tank and looked around. There were a lot of dead people. They were a lot. But they weren't VC, as far as I was concerned. Everybody in the rear writes up anything, thinks everybody has a little pointed straw hat and black pajamas. They had boots, which were canvas high tops. Some were in sandals. They had uniforms. They all had black backpacks. They had automatic weapons, and they had these new little rifles. I really liked them, and I found out later they were called SKSs. Every one of them had that rifle. And I was thinking about a year before on the Idrang Valley, when the Army was the Battle of the Idrang Valley, they were fighting the North Vietnamese, and that was a year before. So whoever writes it up, nobody's going to tell me real VC and pajamas doing what they did. Anyway, after that battle, or whatever it was, Sergeant Jose Alvarado was received the Silver Star. Bobby Adcock received the Bronze Star with a Combat V. Valor, and I received a Navy Commendation Medal for that. And I guess it goes by Staff Sergeant, Sergeant, Lance Corporal, and that's okay because I really care. I'm still alive. So after that, we went back to Hill 55 and did a lot of maintenance on the tank. Replaced everything, cleaned everything up, did the track work, whatever we had to do, and rearmed the tank. And I was ready to say, okay, whatever do you want to do? Wherever you want to send me, I don't know. So they turned around and they said to me, we're going to send you out with Bravo 1-9 to an outpost called BOP 1 and BOP 2, BOP Bravo Outpost. It was on the Vugai River, about 2.5 miles north of Liberty Bridge. It was a horrendous, absolutely horrendous place to be. I don't know what was between Liberty Bridge and what was between us, or was from us out for 2.5 miles. There was supposed to be some kind of RV camp. I don't remember what was behind us. All I know is that there were 2 tanks 50 feet from the edge of the river, sitting on a white sandbar with 10 infantry in between and 2 corpsmen. So there was 20 of us, and our job was to be bait, early warning system. I don't know how else to explain it. What can 20 Marines do when you can't see the enemy on the other side of the river and they know where you are? We were vigilant. We were absolutely, totally vigilant. It was hot, it was rainy. At nighttime, mosquitoes, daytime, the flies. That was normal for a lot of people. There was no getting cleaned up or anything like that. So about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, and the dates aren't perfect, I decided we had a little hooch on the back of the tank and to keep us from the sun and the rain. And I was ready to eat a can of Campbell's cream and mushroom soup and a warm beer, and I had it on the fender of the tank. And the next thing I know is I'm laying on the ground. A couple shots rang out, and I was shot through the abdomen. The bullet went in the left side of my hip, through the belt, and came out by the right hip. A lot of things went on then. 2 other people from the tank were shot. I don't know where one of them was, but one was shot in the arm, and it was a bad day. I'm laying there in the sand. Bullets are hitting the sand. They're bouncing off the tank. But the funny part of it is the after battle report that they have, and I have a copy of it, they talk about 1 sniper. As one sniper is a hell of a sniper. I don't know what the hell he had, but he was popping off a lot of rounds. There was more than one. They wanted us. They wanted us going. They wanted us dead. So they called in a medevac, and the 3 of us went on the medevac. Mike Shapiro, who is here today, I met him for the first time today in 57 years. So when I got shot was 57 years yesterday to the day. And Mike helped carry me onto the helicopter. Now, this helicopter was the old type Hueys that we had instead of the ones the Army had. We always get the junk equipment. And the Hueys had to go around. And getting back to that, the door gunner was slumped over. He was dead. We had 3 wounded Marines, including myself, in there. And as I was looking up, the bullets were coming through the windshield, and a co-pilot slumped over. As the helicopter took off, it has to go around, and they were shooting at it. And from what I understand, depending on who you're listening to, the helicopter was hit between 30 and 40 times. So like I said, 1 sniper, according to the paperwork. During the process of being lifted off, somehow, from underneath, a bullet came through the bottom of the helicopter. It probably flattened out, because when it came through, it put a hole in my side about the size of a tennis ball. And so I was shot twice that day. From there, and I also wanted to say that Jack Burns was the gunner on the tank, and I was a tank commander at the time. Jack, I wouldn't be here without him. I don't remember what he did. I talked to him. He doesn't talk much about it, but it was a hell of a day. From there, I was transported to Charlie Med in Fubai, and they operated on me. One of the things I have to remember, and I don't know who it was who got shot in the arm that day, handing ammunition up to whoever's shooting the 50. One of the things I remember, he was getting an x-ray, and they wheeled me in. And as they put me into it, he said, "No, take me first," which is something that I guess every military, but maybe I only know the Marine Corps, we do watch out for each other. It's not always good, it's not always bad, but it's there. From there, they operated on me. Now, about 1 or 2 days later, I'm not sure the dates because the records aren't really that great, I was transferred down to Clark Air Force Hospital. I don't remember much of that because I was probably high as a kite. They did all kinds of medical things, and I don't remember what they were. But I know I wasn't feeling too good. And from there, they flew me up to Triple Army Hospital in Honolulu, Hawaii. Triple Army Hospital, hey, it's a beautiful place. It's in Honolulu. What do you expect? I have bad memories of that place. I lost it while I was there. And not only were they operating on me, I was a guinea pig. It's a teaching hospital. And the interns would come in, put on their rubber gloves, and stick their fingers in every non-natural orifice that I have. And that went on day after day, and it got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. I was losing weight, et cetera, and I lost it. I guess I woke up a day later and I asked the doctor, when he talked to me, I said, what happened? He says, well, you lost it. And I said, am I better now or something like that? He says, yeah, liquid Valium's a wonderful thing. So from there, I was there approximately 7, maybe 8 weeks. They transferred me to Travis Air Force Hospital. I spent about 2.5 weeks there. They did all kinds of tests. Whatever they can stick in you, they stuck in me. And then from there, they flew me out to McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey. I stayed there approximately 2 weeks, I guess waiting for time to go to Philadelphia Naval Hospital. And then I got moved down to Philadelphia Naval Hospital. I was there for approximately 3 months, maybe or so, rehab, a couple little operations, a lot of tests and stuff like that. And it wasn't a great place. It was an old hospital. It's torn down now. So in August of 1967, I was discharged from the Philadelphia Naval Hospital to full duty. Go figure. I was young. I was healthy. I recouped. Mentally, here I am. That's all that counts. So I had temporary duty at Philadelphia Navy Base to await orders. And 2 weeks later, the orders came in for Quantico, Virginia. Quantico, Virginia was mostly the enlisted were Vietnam veterans. A lot of the older Marines were stationed there. They say if you go to Quantico, it's an honor and a privilege to be stationed there. And for an enlisted Marine, it was one of the biggest dog and pony shows the Marine Corps ever had. Was there for a while. We stood guard. We had field days. Anything that they could do, like parades and stuff, we would constantly do, practicing all the time. We had a lot of free time, but it was a lot of BS too. I was there about 5 weeks, and they put me on the honor guard. Now, there's 4 of us on the honor guard. Practice every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, dress rehearsal, Saturday, we had parades. So anybody got promoted or moved to it, or new command, we would have a parade for them. Dignitaries would come down from D.C., et cetera, et cetera. About November 1967, I wasn't feeling too good, and I decided to go see the corpsman. Corpsman looked at me and he said, I'm going to go see the doctor. The doctor put me in a hospital, and I spent the next month. They operated on me again, twice. I spent November and December at the Quantico Naval Hospital. And then after a month and some rehab, I was discharged back to full duty again. So go figure that one out. So from that point on, I think I copped a little attitude. I had enough. So on the 8th of March, I had to make up the break time. I was discharged from the Marine Corps to active reserves at Willow Grove Navy Base. It was part of my contract that I signed at the beginning. It was more than 4 years. And I got in my car. I drove out the main gate, went up about a mile, made a right-hand turn on Route 95, and I went home to what I knew. And here I am today. I'm alive. I'm healthy as far as I'm concerned. I'm lucky that I'm here. And I feel sorry for a lot of guys can't do the things that I've done in life. I have families, go fishing, go hunting, go enjoy, go out doing things. And that's the end of my story. There's probably a lot more in detail and all. I can't get into it. So,
Robert, that's an amazing story, and we really appreciate you making time and sharing it with us.
I thank you for having me.
And we thank you for your service.
I thank you. I appreciate it.